This comparison has got to be the most frequent thing I've been asked about lately, and for good reason. With the long-standing control-oriented spin king, the Mach 2 Forza, and the new 100% Kevlar Spartus Apollo sliding in with a killer price and a new face material, there is a ton of value and performance in these two paddles, with a lot of similarities and some differences. So let's get right into it. First off, the Mach 2 Forza comes in at a price of $162 with the use of one of this channel's original discount codes, pickleballmed. This is a price a lot of people think is fair for a paddle that won multiple Control and Spin Paddle of the Year awards. And the Spartus Apollo slides in with a shockingly low price of $117 with the PBMED discount code, with this paddle already being hailed by some as one of the highest spinning paddles available. Both of these paddles bear a very strong shape resemblance and fall into the wide body category. You'll see there are some minor differences when you compare them, like the more square bottom of the Apollo compared to the slightly more tapered bottom of the Mach 2 Forza. Both these paddles are made with thermal forming, with the Mach 2 Forza being made of a carbon fiber face material and the Spartus Apollo being 100% Kevlar fibers. They both come in 16mm options, but the Mach 2 Forza also has a 14mm option, which is more light and a little more fast feeling than the other two models. And in terms of what your dollar all gets you for these paddles, the Spartus Apollo comes with a good paddle cover, while the Mach 2 Forza comes with the whole box with the paddle eraser, replacement grips, the whole shebang. All three of these versions came in with pretty comparable swing weights and twist weights, making them all very highly maneuverable and highly stable paddles. If you're looking for paddles with good, giant sweet spots, it really doesn't get better than these two right here. And notably, when comparing the paddles in my database, the number 1 and number 2 overall spots are taken by the Spartus Apollo and the 16mm Mach 2 Forza. Numerically, the Apollo did slightly edge out the Mach 2 Forza for RPMs measured, but I'll say that a difference that small really was not noticeable in gameplay, and there is some variability when trying to record a ball spinning at that rate for these calculations, but the main takeaway should be that these two paddles spin a lot, and not just in testing. Their shape and maneuverability allows them to be moved and shifted at high rates of speed during non-perfect footing or movements during gameplay too, further increasing their utility and accessibility of their spin in actual games. But just because they look similar in shape and they both have high spin rates, that does not mean they play exactly the same, because they don't. They do play pretty similar, but to me it's clear that the Apollo hits a little harder and has a little bit more pop than the Mach 2 Forza. And on the other hand, the Mach 2 Forza continued to show unparalleled controllability, even when playing with these paddles on the same day, in the same conditions, all other things accounted for. If you're coming from a paddle like the Gen 3 Scorpius or something, certainly both of these paddles are going to feel soft to you. But when comparing both thicknesses of the Mach 2 Forza to the Apollo directly, I felt the 16mm Mach 2 Forza had the highest rate of control in my side-by-side comparisons, while the 14mm Mach 2 Forza was the lightest and quickest of these three, with a little more pop than its 16mm version, and the Spartus Apollo had a little more drive speed and pop than both of the Mach 2 Forzas. I definitely felt like the Apollo packed a little more of a punch than the Mach 2 Forza, and I would even go so far as to say it's borderline all-court versus control category, while the Mach 2 Forza is clearly control-oriented and continues to have less pop-ups and higher levels of precision when using it compared to the Apollo. So really, my main takeaways from this comparison were these. Both of these paddles have huge sweet spots and are highly maneuverable, and they take the number 1 and number 2 recorded spots for RPMs in my database. You're really not going to find paddles that spin higher than these. But the Mach 2 Forza continues to proudly wear the crown of Control King, while the Spartus Apollo brings a touch more spice along with its red color and offers a small but noticeable increase in pop and power. And while I still think the price of the Mach 2 Forza is fair, the price of the Spartus Apollo really just is a screaming deal. So if you like the sweet spot, spin, and maneuverability of the Mach 2 Forza, but want a slight bump in power, the Apollo might be a great option for you. But if you want to have the highest levels of control along with those high spin rates, the Mach 2 Forza is still the king of control in my book. That's what I've got for my comparison, and I hope it was helpful. If it was, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you here for the next one.